Final 8, winner faces Deliverance in the AFC Championship. On the other side, of course, we have Goes and Musafa later. Here's Michael Skimbo, 27 years old, Claremore, Oklahoma, #1 in the world. And last year he did pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, this is a guy that's made over $200,000 in Madden earnings for the last 2 years, and it couldn't be any better for him to represent those New England Patriots, because the way he approaches the game is exactly like the Patriots. He is obsessive about all aspects of the game, and preparation is second to none.
And there is the connection, Wentz to Cooks. You're going to see that a ton in this one, RG.
Yeah, and you thought you weren't going to see Carson Wentz at the Super Bowl. Well, you guessed wrong. Skimbo's brought him here, and he's heading those New England Patriots like we talked about. And Mutt, they're in charge of the players they put on their team. Those are 3 big players right there by Skimbo. And you see him with that Travis Frederick identifier. That's something no one else has done in their lineup.
Well, you see they combine just those 2 players. You get 900 cap. That's a 10th of his cap in those 2 guys. On the other side, the man that needs no introduction, Eric Problem Wright, 29 years old. We talk about from nearby Los Angeles, 13th. So he's going to be in the Ultimate League. He's already locked in, and he won 120 grand last year.
And when we say Problem's the greatest of all time, you need to understand this is a man that's made over $500,000 in competitive Madden earnings. Back in the MCS era, back in the Madden Challenge era, there were no belts. But if there were, he'd be a 4-time belt winner. And besides Skimbo, he's the only other player to make more than 2 championship games in the MCS era. Problem's made 3.
Forget about Mariota. We know he's great. The running from Leonard Fournette and the user ability from Problem with Anthony Barr is going to be the key in this one to stopping Skimbo.
And true story, interesting enough, Skimbo pulled me aside this morning and said, gee, I legit had 3 nightmares. I woke up 3 times last night, all nightmares of Fournette running the ball and trucking me all down the field. That's how obsessive Skimbo is. He's going to bed thinking about his opponent's game plan. And we're kicking off. This is the biggest game of the year so far, Coltrane. Most anticipated. We could talk on and on about it, but let's just rock and get to the action.
As Skimbo was telling us days ago, he felt his secondary wasn't really a
run
stopping.
Yes, he was focused
secondary
on blocking. Because the lineup that they submitted at the start of this tournament is the lineup that they needed to use throughout the entire tournament. Skimbo knew when he had to play Blocky, pretty much catered his lineup to match up against Blocky, who has a very different game plan than the GOAT, Eric Problem Wright. Oh, this is going to be crazy, Coltrane. This is going to be good.
It's Chargers and Pats, and Problem will get the ball first. That'll put Skimbo on defense. This is the kind of game that's going to come down to turnovers and points off those turnovers. 5-minute quarters, 30-second play clocks. And, of course, Problem has been rocking that Green Bay offense for the whole tournament.
Problem. He's a man on a mission. Like you heard about it. He feels a lot of people are living in the moment, and he's not getting the credit that he deserves for all the accomplishments he's made over a decade ago. And I feel him. This is a guy that back when I was playing was dominating the circuit, and here he is, in my opinion, the #2 player in the world, still a dominant force on the circuit. You can't say enough good things about him. On top of that, he has extra motivation with his new baby boy who was just born, EJ. He's dedicated this tournament to him. He says everything's for EJ and his wife, B, so he's playing with an extra chip on his shoulder.
Well, they've set their audibles and ready to go. The stretch play to Fournette. That'll pick up 5 yards, and if he can do that, it's going to be a long day for Skimbo.
And Skimbo is also well aware that the Patriots are in the Super Bowl. If he can make the finals of this tournament, he'll get tickets to that Super Bowl to watch his New England Patriots and potentially pull off what nobody think could be done, have the Patriots win the Super Bowl and the Madden Championship. This is a big deal for Skimbo. He's a diehard Pats fan. And he's never lost a Problem in the MCS era. Like Adrian mentioned, Skimbo is 3-0 against Problem. He does not want to let that game slip. He's talked to me about that. It's important to him to keep this undefeated record going.
There's the Eagles representative, Figgy. Lost in Orlando at the Pro Bowl. We started with 32 players. We're down to just 5 players left. 4th and 1 at the 34. And here we go, stand up.
This is big, Scott. I'm standing. Usually 1 yard against any other type of player, it's no big deal. You think you can get it a yard. You're going up against the #1 player in the world. You see Skimbo calls the timeout. This is going to be a stingy yard to get for Problem. This is a big play, Coltrane, early on.
Got to be careful you don't try to stop him from getting 1 yard and give up the touchdown right here.
This is intense.
4th and 1 at the 34. The opening drive, and Fournette gets it easily, and that'll move the chains for Problem.
Skimbo goes to a 3-4 odd look. We're used to seeing him in his famous nickel 3-3-5 odd. Looks like he's labbed a little something different here for Problem. And both of these guys have world-class preparation. Nobody is better at preparing for an opponent than Skimbo, but closely behind him, in my opinion, one of the best all time, Problem Right.
Fournette stretches it out. And there we talked about
there's that truck he was
every
dreaming.
time you get one-on-one with the defensive back, Skimbo's going to be holding his breath.
And I should mention to you, I'm talking about preparation, Scott. Earlier in the week, I got a random text message from Problem himself, and he said, "Gee, I've never prepared for anybody more in my career than I will prepare for Skimbo in this game." So best believe the GOAT has done his homework, and he's ready to rock.
A lot of folks on social media, the Twittersphere, and to be honest with you, Serious Mo was one of the guys tweeting this out. Whoever wins this game will win the whole thing.
I mean, obviously the winner of this match is going to be the favorite to win the whole thing. These are the two biggest names in the community. You said it at the top of the game. This could have easily been the championship. The cards just fell this way.
3rd and 5, Mariota gets loose.
Oh, got hit.
Able to hold on to the 49. That's cross midfield, 1st down, Problem.
Yeah, and what you're going to see from Problem, he's going to have some awesome stick work with his quarterback, good pocket presence, immaculate clock management, and a very solid run game, and his defense is world-class.
1st and 10 now from the 49.
This is interesting. Skimbo just in a new 3-4 look. We haven't seen him run this defense all year.
Up the gut with Fournette. We'll get to the 45. 2nd and 7. This is one big way to stop Skimbo's offense, is just you hold the ball as long as you can.
Skimbo, you should see his defensive play art. He's manning up the outside corners. He's in a cover 4 look, but he's turning it into a cover 4 man hybrid. He's definitely been in the lab getting ready for Problem. I've never seen a defense like this, the way he's setting it up.
So 3rd and 3 at the 41. This is sort of that no man's land, 2-down territory here for Problem.
And this Skimbo, 26-year-old, Claremore, Oklahoma. Problem, 29 years old, representing West Covina, California.
Mariota, quick throw to the flats, and Shannon Sharp will pick up the 1st down.
Slow, methodical drive from Problem. And the thing I like about this drive, Scott, is first drive of the game, already only 1:20 left in the 1st quarter. Problem's going to take his time and try to keep Skimbo's offense off the field with these long, methodical drives. That's a very good game plan by the GOAT, in my opinion.
Stretch it. There's that truck. And he recovers down to the 27, 2nd and 2. And he's already chewed up 4 minutes here on the opening drive for Eric Problem Right.
And you see Problem right there, bobbing his head, getting intense, talking a little bit. Skimbo, on the other hand, he always has this look on his face like every play is the biggest play of the game. He always looks concerned and focused.
Well, here you go. 3rd and inches. They mark Fournette just shy. 40 seconds to go in the quarter. This might be the last play of the 1st quarter, RG.
Yeah, and good game plan by Problem. It's like what teams would want to do to Peyton Manning. Skimbo's offense is so dominant, why not slow the game down and keep it off the field?
High formation, he'll sneak it. And they'll give him the 1st down at the 24.
I need to run one play.
And you're right, there's 1 second separating. Got up to the line and sort of quick snapped his way for the 1st.
See that corner. All types of players. Dubby rooting on Skimbo. Mo rooting on Problem. But my former mentor, Big Laugh, the legend in the house over there in the crowd.
That's been cool. We've seen a lot of the old heads turn out. We saw him down in Orlando.
Yeah.
Jet came up from Tampa as well.
A lot of legends. I'm not talking Ultimate Team.
2nd and 6. Still 0-0 to start the second quarter between Skimbo and Problem. Number 1 player in the world in Skimbo, representing the Patriots, and the greatest Madden player of all time, repping them Chargers.
And to Skimbo's credit, Problem was so far ahead of the field in the GOAT conversation that it wasn't even a conversation. To Skimbo's credit, he's at least begun to make it a conversation.
It's sort of a 1A, 1B situation right now. This will add to the resume for either of these guys.
Oh, big play!
And that'll bring up 4th down from the 20. It's a 37-yarder from there.
Prob's going to take his 3.
Look at this again, RG. It's a quick throw and a good job knocking it away to bring up 4th down.
And both of these guys, you want something interesting, Coltrane. Both Skimbo and Problem spent the most cap on their kickers out of anyone in the tournament. Problem has the 89 overall, 27 cap, Adam Vinatieri as his kicker. That's a lot of cap to be spending on a kicker. Most guys are usually spending, you know, between 14 and 18.
That focus kicker, you're able to get the perfect at the top and the bottom. And that leads to just almost a sort of a security blanket of it's unlikely that I'll get a kick block.
Absolutely. And Skimbo, he has Greg Zerline, Greg the Leg, 94 overall, 28 cap. And this is what I'm excited to see, Scott. You got Skimbo's high-powered, unstoppable offense going up against the greatest defensive mind in Madden history and some of the best stick work you'll ever see in Eric Problem Wright. This is going to be a battle of wills right here on this drive.
Well, it's a win on defense to hold Problem to 3. The issue is he ran off 5.5 minutes to just get 3, and Jamal Charles gets stuffed early.
You see Skimbo, we talked to him at dinner, and what he's told us, Scott, is he likes to run these draw plays because they give him a chance to see how the defense reacts to it. And then from there, he'll start making some reads. Very surgical, methodical. I mean, Skimbo's approach to this game is almost obsessive, Scott. He checks every box that possibly is. He leaves no stone unturned.
There's that pistol formation that we saw him use against Blocky.
Not going to work against Problem.
He's able to get the 5-yard jump to make it 2nd and 6. And there's Grant. There's Serious Mo yelling in the crowd.
Look at the intent. And see what I mean about Skimbo's face right there? This always looks like every play's the biggest play of his life. He doesn't take any plays off. He's probably the best at doing that out of anybody I've ever seen, Scott. Every play is dead serious. It's good defense, my Problem.
The awesome thing right now to set the scene for you guys that can't see, you got Skimbo and Problem, 2 of the best players in the world. And then on both sides of the stage here, you got the rest of the top 10 in Madden 18.
Yeah, and they're all watching closely. You see Dubby leaning over the edge right there, dead serious for Skim. Mo has the same posture for Problem. It's intense. Prob's playing good defense.
Checks it down to Grant once again on that late drag. They'll mark that at the 38, and you got a 3rd and inches.
Problem usually sending the cornerback blitz, a 4-man rush in this cover 2 type defense, but he's mixing it up against Skimbo, dropping that corner into coverage, only sending a 3-man rush. And that's what you got to do against Mike Skim. You got to do small things to try to throw him off guard.
He'll hand it to Jamal Charles, and he'll pick up the 1st down. Not the best running back in the league, but has just enough speed and hands to be on this Skimbo offense.
Yeah, Skimbo only has a 78 overall. Jamal Charles will cost him 26 cap, but he doesn't run the ball that often. And he said, the reason I went with Charles is I just needed somebody that could catch the ball out of the backfield and hold on to the rock. And he feels Charles does those things for him.
We're gonna have some motion along the line, and it's gonna be a neutral zone infraction. So Will mark off 5 yards. 1st and 5 for Skimbo at the 46.
You see that player that Problem's controlling right there, and that's Anthony Barr. That's a 6'5" phenom with the best Madden player of all time controlling him. You got to avoid that player if you're Skimbo.
And he'll run it with Wentz, and he takes a hit.
There's Dubby. Dubby saying tie game, and he might be right, because with Greg the Leg Zerloin as your kicker, if you're Skim, you're pretty much almost in field goal range. It's another yard or two.
By the way, the young Kiver there.
Kiva.
That's who plays in the opening second day of the second game of Ultimate League.
Yeah, that's it.
Starts off tomorrow. It's going to be Skimbo and young Kiv.
Look at this poise by Skimbo.
In the opening week of the Ultimate League. It's going to be a good game, huh? If you need reason to come back tomorrow, that should have been enough.
Well, I mean, just being here at the fan experience, if you're a Madden fan, this is where you want to be, the Super Bowl festivities, but then you get to meet all the biggest names in the Madden community, come kick it with them, pick their brains. That's what the community's all about. That's what you love about esports, too. You get to interact with the guys that you constantly see on TV, on the broadcast. And not only do you get to interact with them, eventually you might find yourself sitting across from them like Deliverance will, the winner of this game.
1st and 10 at the 2-minute warning, ball at the 29.
Can you believe that 2-minute warning? And Skimbo's on his first possession of the game right now, Coltrane.
Bunch to the right, solo left. This is the time that he's gone to Brendan Cooks on this post route. It's covered up.
Oh, that's loud. Skimbo with good pocket, though.
But Skimbo had run that play a plethora of times in this tournament, and Problem's doing a good job at covering that up.
Yeah, that deep attack. We saw Holden. Got to give a shout out to that YouTuber Holden.
Oh yeah,
does all those fantastic breakdowns. Pointed out Skimbo ran deep attack exclusively against Blocky, didn't throw an incomplete pass, and had a perfect passing rating.
And a lot of those were to Brendan Cooks.
But the thing that's beautiful about Skim's game is he's just taking what Problem's giving him. We haven't seen him force anything. And he's just so surgical and methodical.
Uh-oh, now he's got caught up. Could have ran it for the first down, but couldn't get out of his lineman out of his way.
And Problem seems content with letting Skimbo just run with his quarterback, and I don't blame him. Last thing you want is Skimbo just airing the ball out, slanging all over the field.
3rd and 3 at the 22. He's in field goal range.
He's got a spy on the field. Skimbo's going to have to pass here.
Forces it into Grant. And he's a low capper. And he drops it.
Man, neck and neck. Yeah, Mo yelling at Skimbo from the crowd. He's going for this. I don't think Skimbo's snapping this ball, Scott. He's just going to fake snap. I do not think he snaps this ball right here.
4th and 3, he does.
Uh-oh, this is
Wentz. And he finds Ocho Cinco, Chad Johnson. The Rancharos Huevos on this guy.
Oh my goodness, Skimbo with ice in his veins. There's no way I think he throws this ball. He sees something he likes, goes back to the drag. And he's got room!
And Jamal Charles wrapped up at the 2. 1st and goal for Skim. 54 seconds. Problem's got to hold the door.
This is big for Skim. If he could score the touchdown, prevent Problem from getting any more points before the half, and get the ball to start the second half.
Double dip the chip.
He's exactly where he wants to be, and double dipping's not something I approve of, but in this situation, double dip the chip all day.
And hands it to Laney Walker. He'll pick up 1, and Problem will use his final timeout. 51 seconds to go here in the first half. Just the first possession for Skimbo.
This is intense.
We've had 2 possessions in the entire game.
And that's why you go for it on 4th down, Coltrane, in competitive Madden so often, is when you're playing against someone with as good clock control as these guys.
And boom. There's a man wide open, Grant, touchdown Skim. And he's like, let's keep it going.
He's feeling good about himself. He has 48 seconds though right now, where he needs to lock up on Problem. And Problem not known for just being able to air the ball out heavily. We've seen him do it, but he's more of a runner. It'll be interesting to see how he handles this situation when he gets the ball back.
This will make it a 4-point game. The kick is up, and it is good. And SKIMBO, 14 plays, 73 yards, taking up 3 minutes and 39 seconds. 2 biblical drives.
He's better pooch kick it right here. Uh-oh. Problem gets nasty on special teams.
Kicks it deep to Landry.
He's known to take him back.
Past the 20.
He's known to take him back. Oh! I thought he was gone.
Takes it to 37.
Yeah, Rico talked about it. Here's the touchdown real quick. Run commit by Problem. SKIMBO ready for it. Says, let's keep it moving. But you heard Rico at the top of the broadcast. Problem can get it done on all phases of the game. Some of the best special teams we ever saw. Surprised to see SKIMBO not pooch kick to him right there.
And you don't pooch kick because you don't want to give him great field position. Well, just like that, he's already at the 37, so it's just the same as a pooch.
See what Prob has right here.
No timeouts. Rolling with Mariota on the run, Kraus, and couldn't get a toes in.
Here's the thing is he threw it to Kraus, but it looked like the outside wide receiver on the 9 route had a step behind the cornerback. If he just lofted that up, he might have had 6.
2nd and 10, stretch it out again with Fournette.
Skim's gonna call time. Yep.
So 3rd and 5, SKIMBO still with a timeout in his pocket.
That was big by Problem. He had 2 guys open. Couldn't execute on the big game. That could have been critical before the half.
33 seconds to go. Here in the first half between SKIMBO and Problem. Already locked into the Ultimate League. Who's going to be in the AFC Championship to face Deliverance and the Steelers? Fournette. And there's a truck, and that's close to the first down.
I think he's got it.
And he does.
Clock's going to be ticking, I believe, though. Yeah, clock's ticking, Coltrane. No timeouts for Problem either.
17 seconds to go. To the air goes Mariota. And he's going to get sacked. Joey Bosa able to get in there. And that should do it. Maybe one more play if he wants it.
I love that shot. You see SKIMBO looking back. He's got his
hustle.
Good friend and lab partner Dubby behind him. Is probably going to get one play off.
He will. Stretch it out. And Fournette spins. And that's how the half will end. Stengy, 7-3. SKIMBO with the lead. And he's about to get the ball to start half number 2.
This is going to be a big drive, Scott. If SKIMBO could go up 14-3, he's going to be in prime position to win the game. It's going to be hard for the GOAT to even come back from against a player the caliber of Skim.
Well, this might be first to double digits takes it.
Yeah, Problem knows that he needs to lock up here on this possession. This is a big possession. You saw Skim with a good return there, too. He's no slouch on special teams either. He's called the shot a few times at these tournaments about returning kicks.
So 1st and 10 at the 32. So SKIMBO will go to work. You even see this done at the college and the pro level. Different formations, give them different looks, and then set up your play and go.
There's good defense by Problem. And Problem, I mean, both of these guys play Madden full-time. Problem, a full-time streamer, sponsored by the Luminosity Esports org, one of the best orgs out there. I mean, I believe Ninja's on that organization. Problem, the first player to lock down a major sponsorship like that. And for good reason.
2nd and 10. X isn't open, being usered. Tried to playmaker, he's still covered. He's got to throw it away. Problem all over his main target. And even with the playmaker, he was step for step.
Yeah, I mean, and this is these guys just watching tape on each other. Scott, when Problem texts you and says, I've never prepared for a game harder in my life, That's not good news for his opponent, but if anybody in our circuit's equipped to handle that type of thing, it's Mike Skim.
You don't see Skimbo in 3rd and long too often. Needs 10.
Missed the read, late on it.
And it picks up the first down. Maybe just looking for the traffic to clear, but A was standing there for a while.
Just a good check down by Skim. He knows problems taking that bar, running deep to guard the post route. And just leaves something underneath in that middle of the field. That problem didn't have accounted for. Another first down for Skim.
Already a minute in to the 3rd quarter. 7-3. Skimbo with the lead and the ball. New set of downs.
His pocket presence, Scott.
Wentz. Back to Chad Johnson, the legend.
Almost got a strip right there. Watch Skim's comfortability when he's in the pocket, Scott. You can just see it. The blitz is picked up. He's surveying the field. He's not rushing anything. He rolls away from the pressure. And if no one's open, he'll throw it away and fight another down. Plays the game the way it's supposed to be played.
2nd and 4. Back into the gun. Bunch to the right. Cooks a solo to the left. Wentz got to step up. And if you're playing salary cap and you don't have Sam Shields on your team, you're doing it wrong.
You're doing it wrong. It's a low cap cornerback with a lot of speed. I've seen him on a lot of players. Yeah, 59 overall, 14 cap, Sam Shields.
And he can absolutely fly coming in on the blitz. 3rd and 9. Playmaker, nice job. This time he allows Chad Johnson to settle down. And then once Problem stopped his user, takes him the other way and picks up the first down.
Yeah, Problem was sitting on that route waiting, but Skim just too poisey. And that's Skim. He's just too comfortable back there. Usually you're playing Problem. You're scared the blitz is going to come in. You got to throw it out quick. You know it's one of the best lurks in the country.
Throws it again.
He just looks so comfortable back there, Scott.
Starting to settle into a rhythm is Michael Skimbo. Leading by 4, ball at the 37.
How about him going for it on that 4th down in the first half? He knew he would have the ball to start the second half, which is why I believe he went for that 4th down, because this is the situation he wanted to be in.
Back in the pistol, switches to the gun. A pistol formation is just in. Charles gets to the 26. He's not a great runner, but Skimbo spent a hefty amount of cap on his lineman.
Problem right there.
And look at Frederick. Frederick just locking up the guy across from him.
Yeah, Skim has some beef on that offensive line. He has Frederick, and then at the left tackle position, he has 92 overall, Teron Armstead.
So from the Giants, I believe. 1st and 10.
Skim just not messing around with that offensive line, but that's a big sack right there by Pete.
Can't take that sack.
And both of these guys.
Armstead is down with the New Orleans Saints. 2nd and 17. Cook solo to the left. Some Saints fan out there just thought I traded their left tackle. I apologize.
We're all over it. That's a big sack by Problem. That's 2 in a row.
3rd and 20 now. Pushes them on the edge of field goal range with Greg the Leg.
And I wanted to say, Coltrane, both these players use that identifier ability, which lets them see who their opponent is controlling on defense. That's not a luxury everybody has. You need to spend cap and have a player that gives you that ability.
I bought into that real early with Foster from the Steelers. Left guard that had identifier earlier in the game. Had to power him up, though.
Skim can't take a sack here.
They throw it to A.
Oh, what click on my Problem!
And here's a 4th and 20.
That was a big click on by Problem, Coltrane. If he let the AI just do that, that would have been a catch. Problem clicks on, cuts underneath, almost gets the pick.
And he kicks it,
Perfect
needs
kick.
every bit, and got it.
That was huge.
That would have been good from 56.
Yeah, that was a perfect kick by Mike Skim, but huge defensive stand for the GOAT, Eric Problem Wright. He couldn't let up a touchdown there, and now there's pressure on Skim to get a defensive stand.
You can see Greg the leg that if you get your kickoff max, and that's what Skimbo was trying to do in his earlier kick, he can kick it deep into the end zone.
Yes. Good observation, Scott. No need to pooch kick, right? Just give it to him at the 25 if you can. High-level strategy right there by Mike Skim, and best believe that was a calculated thing. Ooh, problem with room in the open field. That's scary.
Can't get those one-on-ones with Fournette.
Yeah.
That is really the majority of the players that play Madden football. I don't care if it's the weekend league. You're hoping for that one stretch play that you can break free and get the touchdown.
Yeah, it's a big part of the meta.
We're headed to the fourth quarter, RG.
That's a problem in the open field.
It's a little different than you or I out there running around.
Absolutely.
2nd and 4. Here to start the fourth quarter. Who's going to go to the AFC Championship to face Deliverance and the Steelers?
Keep in mind, this is Problem's second possession of the ball game. We're in the fourth quarter. If you don't count the few seconds he had before the half. This is
there's the truck, and that's enough.
That's how fast and stingy these games are, Scott.
1st and 10 at the 36. Needs a touchdown.
Those two on the big stage where they belong.
And Mariota finds the out of position Paul Krause. And that's going to be a first down all the way down at the 39.
Keep feeling like Landry has a step on the corner on the outside. Skim's hot routing him to man coverage. I think Probs noticed it yet.
Fournette takes it to the 35. Of course, these guys are so diabolical. You can be waiting for that one moment that you need it.
Yes.
Pun intended. 2nd and 6. Stretches it out again. Cuts it back this time and picks up the first down. Just lulls you to sleep.
Yeah, 19 rushes, 72 yards. But one of the reasons he's the GOAT is he sticks to his game plan. It's going to take a lot to get him out of it. And he's committed to that run.
That's why he's always in the game. How many plays have come down to the final play of the game when you got problem?
These guys' resumes are insane. And then Skimbo, obviously in the MCS era, the only player to have won 2 belts. Chasing his 3rd belt here. Problem still looking for that first belt. He's made it to the final game 3 times. Yet to get over that hump.
Rolling out with Mariota, and there is Krause. Touchdown Problem.
Oh, and the emotion in his lit right now, Coltrane.
Do something dumb. That's what he always does.
Oh, Joel's capping. Everybody's capping right now, Coltrane. Joel and Dumpy getting at it in the crowd. This is intense, Scott. And this is a perfect example of how the community is in this matchup. Split right down the middle. Half for Problem, half for Skim.
And I know you're a Patriots fan IRL, but you know, when you have the Alabamas and you have the New England Patriots, at some point you're either for them or against them. And that's what Skimbo has created here. He's had so much success over the last 3 seasons that you're either for him or against him. 10-10, 3:37 to go, and the best player in the world is going to have the rock.
This is intense, Coltrane. I'm not even playing, and I got the sweats on my palms.
Get Mariota again, playmakering upfield, and Paul Krause ties the game. And that's a let's go.
Look at the disgust on Skim's face. He's not happy. Get a player cam right there. Dead serious.
Throws it in the coverage. Picked up by Anthony Barr. And Problem's going to have the ball at the 6-yard line.
Oh, Skimbo makes a rare mistake. The GOAT capitalizes. He lets him hear about it. The crowd's going crazy. Prob's bobbing his head.
He's 0-3 versus Skimbo.
Oh, my goodness.
Is the narrative about to change?
Oh, this is bananas, Scott. He still needs to get it. You still want to get in for a touchdown here if you're Prob. Skimbo's offense is too good. Only take 3.
Fournette will lose a few. 2nd and goal from the 8.
And we were talking about it. Anthony Barr, the 6'5" phenom mixed with the greatest of all time. When controlled by the greatest player of all time, he's bound to make a play. And problem, boy, did he make a play in the 4th quarter when he needed it.
And him with Anthony Barr is like when you make Bruce Banner angry.
Well said. And you don't like him when he's angry.
2nd and goal at the 8.
Look at this formation.
Back to Fournette. Stops him at the 6. Here's a 3rd down.
This is big. This is big, Scott. Because you got to think, Skimbo's not going to make another mistake like that on offense. So if you're a problem, you really want to get this touchdown here, but you can't turn it over. Oh, this is intense. Everybody's leaning over the railings.
3rd and goal.
Oh, the players are locked in.
Play of the game. And Fournette will get in there.
And skills with a truck. Skimbo talked about, he said he had nightmares last night about Fournette trucking him. And that's a situation where nightmares turn into reality.
30 plays on offense for Problem. He's run it 25 times, and it's back-to-back touchdowns. And this extra point will put him up 7.
And this is why we call him the GOAT, Scott. Anyone else we've seen Skimbo deal with in this tournament, he's taken care of them handedly. But then you throw Eric Wright in that hot seat, and he steps up like he does time and time again, but this ain't over.
You know, we've heard a lot of players, when things happen, they say, I deserve it. We deserve overtime.
I wouldn't
we,
be
the
mad
community,
at it.
we deserve overtime here.
You got to watch out for Skim on special teams.
Let's take a look at it again first. The bad throw from Skimbo. As you see the lurk.
All over it.
And then Fournette on 3rd down pounds it in, RG.
That was a big 3rd down run. Look at Prop showing some emotion. Even the GOAT gets animated. Here comes Skim, though. Here comes Michael Skim, Scott. It's going to be hard to stop him twice. If Problem can get a stop here, boy, does he deserve this win, because it is not easy.
Can Problem turn back the clock one more time?
See what Skim's got.
1st and 10. Wentz. I'm telling you, that's about the only thing that's been open. 2nd and 10. But that's the route that also got lurked.
Yeah, well, no, that was the drag route, I believe.
Yeah.
The one he lurked was the playmaker. But nonetheless,
but it's Grant coming across the field.
It's Grant coming across the
look.
field. Fair to say, you're right. Nonetheless, though,
he has
there's
X.
one. Oh! Held on to it.
And he holds on to it at the 38-yard line, and that'll take us to the 2-minute warning.
It's a big catch right there by Mike Skim. Look at him right here, Scott. You see, rolls out, and he's just so good at moving away from the pressure. I think he's the best in the business when it comes to protecting his quarterback and keeping him away from that pressure in the pocket. It's what allows him to make all these reads. You see him getting away?
And there goes Wentz, got to get down. He'll get out of bounds instead. And in the last decade of Madden football, you're looking at 2 of the best right here with 1:54 to go.
Not 2 of the best.
The best.
This is the two best in the last decade, in my opinion.
Second and 4. Got to throw it away, and he will. It's going to bring up 3rd down. Needs a touchdown to tie.
That intensity. The focus.
This is tough sledding. Nothing's been open.
Skimbo's face is pretty much the same exact, though. He's as locked in as ever.
Throws the corner route, and there's Cooks. Down to the 15-yard line with 1:40 to go. Wow.
Skimbo just responding on this drive right now, but still needs the touchdown. And it gets stingy down here, Scott.
Wentz will use his legs. Got to slide. He will at the 9.
It's going hurry up.
2nd and 5, clock on the move. 3 timeouts for each of these guys.
Watch him draw. Watch him draw up your problem. There
Picks up a block and picks up the touchdown.
Oh my goodness, dude. You
do need a stop, but you also need an extra point, which don't come easy sometimes.
The point is, it's as advertised. Problem needed to step up. He steps up. Now it's time for Skimbo to step up against one of the best defensive players ever, and then he steps up. It's why these guys are on the top of the mountain. They're just too clutch.
Are tied at 17 with 70 seconds to go.
What's this? What an unstoppable force meets an immovable object, Scott. Nobody wants to give. Uh-oh.
Gonna have a chance to return. Takes it at the 2. Landry can't get away and will start his drive at the 23. Look at it again. You called the draw play, and there it was.
Yeah. Just had a feeling Skim was going to go to that, and look at him. Mike Skim known to show it a little emotion every now and then himself. Repping them Patriots, you probably got to wonder if he's going to go up top.
Hands it to Fournette, and there's a truck. Able to pick up 4 or 5, 2nd and 5.
Clock's ticking. Under a minute left right now.
Field goal will win it.
Oh, this is the nitty-gritty. Uh-oh!
Fournette. Safety and numbers on the tackle, 3rd and 3.
Big play right here. I think this is the biggest play of the game so far right now, Scott.
You also can't give the ball back.
This is huge.
Needs 3 to keep it going. Up the middle, first down and more. And he'll use his first timeout with 27 seconds to go. Ball marked at the 42.
Oh, this is intense in here, Scott. Everybody on the edge of their seat. Most anticipated match of the season, hasn't disappointed so far.
2 wideouts to the left. He's going to stretch it that way. And he's going to lose a lot of yards and more. Gets out of bounds at the 38, but does save a timeout by stopping the clock.
And now if your problem, you're going to probably need to get a little more aggressive here with only 23 seconds left. But you got to protect the football. A turnover would be tragic for him.
All those pre-snap adjustments. 2nd and 14. #1 player in the world against the greatest of all time. Patriots, Chargers, Skimbo, problem. And Mariota will take off.
Down.
And he'll slide at midfield, and there's timeout number 2, 3rd and 4.
And you said Patriots, Chargers. The Patriots are well aware that Skimbo is representing them, and you've seen on Twitter, problem getting a lot of support from the San Diego,
giving them the claps.
Los Angeles Chargers and Keenan Allen and co. NFL's behind these players, and they want to represent for the organizations that they're here competing for. Look at that. Look at that focus.
3rd and 4. Problem. Going to use the legs again. First down and more. And he's in field goal range at the 31.
Here's the thing. Skim's going to be able to ice him. And when you get ice with that focus kicker, it can be difficult. This is going to be interesting, Scott.
3 seconds. He has Vinatieri as his kicker.
Oh my goodness. Can Problem get over the hump? A field goal away from the 31.
He's 0 for 3 against Skimbo.
There's the ice. Here it is.
The kicker is iced. 48-yarder. Are we going to overtime?
Oh my goodness.
Or is Problem going to move on to the AFC Championship game?
What's going to happen? Ba-bum. Ba-bum.
Here's the snap, the hold, the kick is up, and it's good! The GOAT is back!
I don't think he ever went anywhere, Scott.
He finally gets over the hump against Skimbo. 20-17.
Look at that man right there. I just need to catch my breath for a second. Coltrane, that was an insane game. They got the NFL experience buzzing here at the Minnesota Convention Center, and Problem finally gets over the hump.
17 points in the fourth quarter for Problem and the Chargers. And it was some big defensive plays for Problem that set everything up. And man, we got a madhouse here.
Oh, this was crazy. I mean, but first off, you got to give your hats off to Michael Skimbo. World-class competitor, still the #1 ranked player in the world. We'll see him at Ultimate League, the only 2-time belt winner. And you know he's going to go and watch that tape and make some corrections and immediately prepare for Ultimate League. But right now, it's about that man, Eric Problem Wright, and the greatest Madden player of all time, getting over the hump and showing he can still do it after a decade of competing. It's just so impressive. I can't believe he's still doing it, Scott. It's mind-blowing.
It's been a long time coming. Finally beats Skimbo. He's going to move to the AFC Championship game, and he's standing by with Adrian Lawrence.
Problem, huge win over Skimbo, top-ranked Madden player. You had a 0-3 record against him. Now you got that one win on the board. How is it for you?
You know what? I'm just tired of people disrespecting my legacy in this game. And that's what it is. I don't need a shirt to tell people what I am, and that's it.
All right, and can you tell us about that game-winning field goal that sealed the deal?
I drove down. I felt confident that last play, I've seen that play give him trouble, so I went to it, and sure enough, Mariota got me there.
And you and Skimbo are both in the Madden Ultimate League, so you could face each other again. Would you change up your game at all when you see him next time, possibly?
Yeah, you got to change your game when you play, you know, these players. Like, I'm trying to mix up my game as much as possible. I know he studies film like no other, so I'm going to do the same thing next in Ultimate League, switch it up a little bit.
And you are the GOAT, but you're moving on to face a man named Deliverance, who's kind of been the sleeper in this competition. What do you expect from him?
He looks good. He's really good on defense, and he's moving the ball effectively on offense. So I don't overlook anybody. Got to study him and get into that next one.
Well, I definitely wish you the best.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
To you, Dave and Rico.
Thank you, Adrian, Rico. That was an instant classic right there. Problem taking down Skimbo. Last-minute field goal. What is there to say? I mean, unbelievable game.
Actually, there's a ton to say about it. It came down to styles making fights. You had Problem, who's a defensive specialist, Skimbo, the offensive specialist. Like Deliverance said, defense wins championships. Problem was able to get that interception, got to stop, change the momentum, and he just took Skimbo out of his game. You could see Skimbo was on tilt after that, never was really able to regain that. And when Problem came and took that corner right away, good grief, the place went crazy. And to know that your games can come down to that kicker, to have that focus kicker, and he knew as soon as that left the foot, it was good.
That's right. We were all here on pins and needles waiting for that kick to happen, but you mentioned that interception right here. This is the play that changed this game around. Anthony Barr on the user pick, a rare bad read and bad decision by Skimbo in the passing game.
Problem took him out of what he wanted to do. He didn't have him feel comfortable. You saw him running with his quarterback a lot. Bumped into his lineman a few times.
Right.
He didn't allow Skimbo to do what he wants to do and what he's normally able to do against everybody. Now you see why they call him the GOAT. Now you see why they call him a defensive specialist. And when you add offense to that, 17 points in the fourth quarter, nobody's beating Problem like that.
Now that was a vintage performance right there. He fought, he did what he had to do. Credit to Skimbo for changing his game. What a finish, though.
He's the Roy Jones of Madden. Y'all must have forgot what he was like back there, myself included. Tip your hat to the fella and look at that bracket.
There it is, the Final Four, AFC Conference Championship, NFC Championship game. Mustafa Jones taking on Ghost, Deliverance taking on Problem. Really all different types of players going to be featured in this one. That's going to be coming to us at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. Rico, again, we heard RG talk about the longevity of Problem success, how much this game changes every year, let alone within the same year. How impressive is it to you that he's able to not only be at this level, but he's adapted to every new thing that's been thrown his way?
Some things change, but other things stay the same. And Problem being at the top of the game is that he has been the benchmark of excellence throughout Madden for over a decade. And he's not gonna go quietly into that night. If you're gonna take Problem out, you're gonna earn it, and he's gonna make sure that you play your best game. He has shown everybody he is who he thought he was.
That's right. You mentioned he is known as a defensive specialist. He had pressure on Skimbo all game. That big 3rd and 20 where the deep out route, you know, to get to the 6, he was able to take away that route. And then, of course, the major turnover here with Anthony Barr. I mean, really just so impressive to not only show up against Skimbo, but on a stage like this, at the Super Bowl experience in Minnesota. Really just super, super impressive.
When it comes to Madden, he's a beautiful mind. He was able to make those adjustments on defense, give him different looks, disguise them as other looks. You're almost speechless when you watch and you realize what a cerebral player he is on both sides of the ball now. He saw what he was able to do on offense. He said, okay, let me do that one more time. That's gonna get me there. And he set his team up to match his style. There you have it, he's moving on.
There you go, moving on indeed to the conference final. Here it is one more time, starting at 5:30 Eastern time. It's Ghost taking on Mustafa, and that's actually Deliverance there for the Steelers, taking on Problem. 2 unbelievable matchups. Ghost, who was supposed to play Killer Mike in his first matchup today, we caught up with him to get his thoughts on not being able to take on that matchup.
I obviously feel for him, Killer Mike. Sometimes, you know, life gets in the way, but it's going to help me because I'm going to be prepared, and I get to go scout those other guys while they have to go play games.
So Rico, there you hear him. You know, he had a chance to do his homework. We talked about in the Skimbo Problem matchup, the preparation, how important that was. What are you seeing out of that Ghost Mustafa matchup quickly?
These guys are familiar with each other. Yep. I'm going to be curious to see if Ghost not playing an earlier game might have a little bit of rust on him. It's, okay, is he rested up? Is he ready to go? Is he sharp in the mind? Or Mustafa just came off that big win. Yeah. He's ready to go. Does he ride that momentum wave? Either way, I think I like EMB to get out.
I was going to say, going with EMB is a pretty safe selection here.
That's the rock solid pick.
There it is, rock solid pick. Give yourself a little wiggle room before. We want to remind you guys one more time, starting at 5:30 Eastern tonight. Come on back to see Ghost take on Mustafa. That is the Redskins club champion taking on the Falcons club champion. And Deliverance for the Steelers taking on the GOAT. Eric Problem right for the Chargers, showing why he's the GOAT.